The 2023 South Korean film The Point Men tells a harrowing tale of courage, resilience, and the delicate art of negotiation against the backdrop of a hostage crisis in the Middle East. Directed by Im Soon-ryan, inspired by real-life events, the movie follows a South Korean diplomat and a skilled mercenary negotiator as they attempt to rescue a group of hostages held by the Taliban in Afghanistan. The story is both a suspenseful thriller and a poignant exploration of cultural clashes, personal redemption, and the human cost of diplomacy. The film begins with a group of South Korean missionaries traveling through the rural regions of Afghanistan. Their mission is purely humanitarian, providing aid to local villages. However, their journey takes a dark turn when their convoy is ambushed by a heavily armed faction of the Taliban. The missionaries are taken hostage, and their captors demand a significant ransom, along with political concessions from the South Korean government. The hostages are marched to an isolated compound in the mountainous regions, where they are subjected to harsh conditions and constant threats. In South Korea, news of the kidnapping sends shockwaves through the government and the public. The crisis becomes a national emergency, with families of the hostages pleading for swift action. Young Jae-ho, a seasoned diplomat with years of experience in international negotiations, is assigned to handle the delicate situation. Known for his adherence to protocols and his belief in the power of dialogue, Jae-ho is confident in his ability to resolve the crisis peacefully. However, as he delves deeper into the case, he realizes that this mission will test him in ways he never anticipated. Upon his arrival in Afghanistan, Jae-ho is immediately confronted with the chaos and unpredictability of the region. The South Korean embassy staff is overwhelmed, and local Afghan officials are wary of foreign interference. Language barriers, cultural misunderstandings, and bureaucratic red tape further complicate Jae-ho's efforts. The diplomat soon finds himself out of his depth, unable to make headway with the Taliban's demands. The narrative introduces Park Dae-sik, a former intelligence officer turned mercenary negotiator. Dae-sik is a grizzled veteran of the region, haunted by a past mission that ended in tragedy. He operates outside conventional methods, relying on a network of informants, bribes, and street smarts to achieve his objectives. Jae-ho, desperate for progress, reluctantly agrees to work with Dae-sik despite their starkly different approaches. While Jae-ho values diplomacy and restraint, Dae-sik believes in exploiting weaknesses and using force when necessary. Their clashing ideologies set the stage for a tense and often combative partnership. As the two men work together, they uncover the complex dynamics within the Taliban group. The leader, a hardened militant, is driven by a mix of ideology and personal vendettas. However, his second-in-command harbors ambitions of taking over the group, creating a fragile power structure. Jae-ho and Dae-sik decide to exploit this internal conflict to their advantage. Using Dae-sik's connections, they plant seeds of distrust among the militants, hoping to weaken their unity. Meanwhile, the hostages endure brutal conditions in captivity. The film delves into their individual stories, highlighting their resilience and humanity. A young woman among the group becomes critically ill, adding urgency to the rescue efforts. The Taliban leader uses her condition as leverage, threatening to execute her if their demands are not met. Jae-ho, in a bold and risky move, arranges a direct meeting with the Taliban leader. The scene is fraught with tension as Jae-ho enters the militants' territory, unarmed and surrounded by hostile guards. Speaking through an interpreter, he appeals to the leader's sense of honor and humanity, arguing that sparing the hostages would demonstrate strength, not weakness. His words seem to have an impact, but the leader remains non-committal. Behind the scenes, Dae-sik uncovers a critical piece of intelligence, a planned coup by the second-in-command. This revelation becomes the linchpin of their strategy. Jae-ho and Dae-sik devise a plan to exploit the division within the Taliban ranks while ensuring the hostages' safety. The situation escalates when the South Korean government, frustrated by the lack of progress, orders a military strike to resolve the crisis. Jae-ho vehemently opposes this decision, arguing that it will endanger the hostages. In a dramatic confrontation with his superiors, he pleads for more time to execute his plan. Despite initial resistance, he manages to delay the strike, buying a crucial window of opportunity. The climax of the film unfolds in a nail-biting sequence. Dae-sik infiltrates the militants' compound under the guise of a weapons dealer, using his cover to gather critical information and smuggle supplies to the hostages. Simultaneously, Jae-ho orchestrates a diversion, drawing the Taliban leader away from the compound. The tension reaches its peak as Dae-sik and a small team of local allies launch a covert rescue operation. The rescue is fraught with danger. A firefight breaks out between the militants and the rescue team, putting both the hostages and the operatives at risk. Dae-sik is gravely injured while shielding one of the hostages from gunfire, but his sacrifice ensures the mission's success. The hostages are freed, and the Taliban group is dismantled in the ensuing chaos. In the aftermath, Jae-ho returns to South Korea as a national hero. However, he is deeply affected by the lives lost during the crisis, including some of the local allies who assisted in the rescue. Dae-sik, recovering from his injuries, chooses to stay in the region, dedicating himself to humanitarian efforts and finding redemption in helping others. The film ends on a poignant note, reflecting on the complexities of diplomacy and the personal toll of heroism. Jae-ho and Dae-sik, though vastly different in their methods and beliefs, find common ground in their shared humanity and commitment to saving lives.